Hey everyone, this is Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packers content. Go Packers.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim at an undisclosed location. I believe maybe in witness protection. We don't know. We'll see. Tim, how you doing tonight, bud?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here. Talk a little ball. Trying to wash that Chiefs game off of my eyes and out of my soul, you know.
Just so everybody knows, as soon as Tim signed in, I wasn't expecting him. And I said, oh, this is great. Pleasant surprise. Hey, man, we're going to hit on the officiate. And he said, well, I'm signing off. So tired of hearing about it, I'm sure, man. I know the chat's already lit up. Appreciate everybody making us a part of your evening here. If you would hit that like button for us, we would greatly appreciate that. Drew D in the chat said there was a series where 3 calls in a row went in favor of the Chiefs, all bad calls, and the Texans still scored a touchdown. They're missing offsides on block kicks, 2 phantom roughing the passers. Drew went on to say, this is why I'm actually believing the NFL's putting their thumb on the scale through poor officiating one way. How would anybody know exactly? And again, I'm not saying that it's, predetermined, all right, here's the team that's going to win. But it just feels like there's enough leeway there. I mean, it's no longer, I know a few conspiracy theorists believe this, but I mean, you go to Twitter, Tim. I put a tweet out earlier, and I think it cracked 4 million views already. And it was just a blatant missed hip drop tackle, right? Yeah. And immediately you're going to get some people go, well, they haven't called it all year. You're missing the point, bub. They literally, they called helmet to helmet, leading with the head hit on Patrick Mahomes, where the helmet didn't even touch him.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was in the first quarter, right?
It's insane, man. Drew D went on to say, how can it go in favor of the Chiefs literally every single week? And that's the biggest issue, man.
Did you see they had the nerve to flash that stat about, what was it, like 16 one-score games in a row that the Chiefs have won? And it's right. Like, yeah, I wonder how that happened.
It's pretty rare, right? Drew D says, I don't mind, though. Chiefs are more likely than the Texans to beat the Lions if it comes to that. That's the ultimate goal, right? Make sure somebody beats the Lions. Teresa in the chat says, the commissioner needs to be replaced. He's not doing anything about it. Refs should be fine. Here's the thing, Teresa, and listen, we're going into the conspiracy corner here, and that's okay. If they are putting their thumb on the scale like many people believe, the commissioner the commissioner does what the owners tell him to do, okay? There's kind of a misconception out there that the commissioner runs everything and the owners listen to him. It's really the opposite. He works for, 31 owners plus Mark Murphy and now, our new addition there, Ed Policy. I got to get used to saying his name, Ed Policy. So he works for them, right? And when they go to these owner meetings and everything, I promise you he's not going against the grain of the owners and going, we're going to approach it this way. Now, when it's one of the teams, a specific team that it happens to, those owners will speak up and they're upset. But when it happens for their team, obviously they don't say anything. It just seems really, really weird. I don't know. I don't think that this is wrestling like some people believe, but man, it sure seems like they're allowing just enough leeway to be able to persuade games. It's almost like they're choosing to shave the points. You know what I mean? As opposed to in the past, some dark entity behind the scenes was making money off of it. It's just weird. It's really, really weird, man. Chris in the chat says, the way Mahomes just drops straight down every time on a tackle and fakes like he's going out of bounds down the sideline is Bush League poopy. Yeah, bull poop. I hope someone cleans that clock. Tim, we talked about that, man. That flop and the fact that the announcers actually called it out this week, it's getting really, really old really quick, man.
Yeah, that was so bad. And there's no reason to flop either, because if you watch that play, he was in bounds when contact was made. So right. If anything, I'm a little upset at, the Houston defender for not putting a real hit on him, take full advantage of that. But, you can make contact, man. He had 2 feet in bounds when he got shoved. So unnecessary LeBron James flop was not needed.
You may not have seen this play. Maybe you did. There was one play where Mahomes scrambled around for, I don't know, it felt like 15, 20 seconds, and then decided last second, I'm just going to lay down. And as he laid down, they're trying to tackle him. Nobody even hardly hit him. They threw a flag roughing the passer.
That was the one I was talking about. That one ended the game because that extended their drive and gave them 15 yards and a new set of downs. And, the only contact were the two defenders running into each other. It was crazy.
Absolute insanity, man. And again, I put a poll question up because I want to see if I'm off base here. I said, do you believe the NFL officiating shows favoritism towards the Kansas City Chiefs? I expected it to be, 60-40, 70-30, but I did expect the majority to vote, hey, yes, that's the case, right? Tim, right now, 96% yes, 4% no.
Well, the 4% that said no are Chiefs fans, obviously.
Right. And we appreciate y'all subbing to the channel. If you would hit that like while you're hanging out in there. Joe in the chat says Troy Aikman and Joe Buck might have just ended their careers. I've never seen announcers legit question the refs like that. Even Scott Van Pelt was lost. I noticed it too, Joe. And
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
That's something they're taught, Tim. You do not question the integrity of the officiating. And boy, oh boy, did they do it today. Kudos to them. Tip your cap to Troy Aikman.
You talk about pretty much untouchable, right? When it comes to, the upper echelon of broadcasting guys. Joe Buck's been around forever. You're not going to get rid of him. Can't get rid of him. And Troy Aikman is NFL royalty. And if anybody is going to talk about quarterback play or, criticizing, questionable calls on roughing the passer or something, I'm gonna listen to a guy like that. Multiple Super Bowl titles and one of the all-time greats. So, I'm sure the league's not going to be happy, and but I don't see them really being able to do anything with those two, right? Yeah,
right. Again, like you said, if it was the C team for CBS or Fox, it'd be different. Sure. This is to the best of my knowledge, outside of Tom Brady, the highest paid team, right? Broadcasting team. So obviously officiating is the theme tonight, and it wasn't the plan before this game in Kansas City kicked off, but some other news dropped earlier tonight, right about the time of kickoff, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to cover up the video for copyright purposes, but Tom Pelissero tweeted out, the NFL fined Eagles linebacker Oren Burks $8,333 for unnecessary roughness, use of the helmet, his hit on Packers kick returner Keyshawn Nixon that caused the fumble on the opening kickoff last week. I love how Tom Pelissero did a couple spaces, a couple right lines down, and then put no flag was thrown. So that play that we showed over and over and over, the opening kickoff, right, where Keyshawn Nixon takes the crown of the helmet right to the face, fumbles, recovers his own fumble. Still, somehow the Eagles end up with the ball. No flag for the helmet to helmet. Here they pop up less than a week later and say, we got to fine you. That was a foul. It's just wild, man. Absolutely wild. So for those that were in the mentions saying, it wasn't a foul, that's football. Okay, well, the NFL disagrees with you now, conveniently, a week later or however long it's been. So anything you want to add to that, man? That was just a tough situation.
Yeah, I don't know what the process is, like with the NFLPA and this kind of stuff, but I'd be telling, my players to appeal every single one of these. If there's no foul called on the field, you're retroactively going in and hitting my bank account for a fine on a play that wasn't even called live during the game. I don't know what the appeals process is or whatever, but that seems a little crazy. I could see if he was flagged, on the field, and then the league found that it was excessive and decided to fine him. But this is a no call, and now you're retroactively, fining a guy $8,300. Well, I'd personally rather have possession of the ball there to start the game for us and have a better chance to win. You can't retroactively change that, So I just don't feel like I don't know. It just seems like a big song and dance. I don't think they really care about player safety and all that, man. I don't believe it. I really don't.
Yeah, same. Judy says, "Oh, thanks NFL. You find a guy, but our season was ended." There you go. And again, that was a huge play. You talk about setting the tone for the entire night, man. Oh my gosh. So there is that. There's a couple other things. I'm not going to show the hip drop tackle. You guys can go to Twitter and see it yourself. Oh, I did want to point this out though, Tim. I thought this was hilarious. You actually mentioned it too. Here's a tweet I put out. if you guys will remember, I put a tweet out because the NFL was flexing on that helmet-to-helmet hit. They said, I can't remember the terminology they used for it, but they basically said it was the perfect hit, right? Well, looky here. The NFL deleted that tweet.
Shocking.
So about a week later, they deleted the tweet. And luckily for me, I had a screen grab, though, Tim.
That's all right. The internet's forever, man. We know what they did.
Right. Said, I'm sure the original tweet accidentally got deleted, so here you go, NFL. That's how you bring the boom, is what it said. And it ended up being a fine for $8,000 and should have been a personal foul that did not get called. So the hypocrisy knows no bounds, man. It's just absolutely wild. Twitter was on fire, though, going after the officiating tonight for sure. And we had a couple AI images that were just solid, Tim. Look at this one. I'm telling you, the internet was doing their thing tonight. As you can see Pat Mahomes with the official. This might be the best one, Tim. This might make your stomach turn a little bit. Look at this one.
Oh, my God.
So the internet was interneting tonight, no doubt about it. But there you go. There's your officiating update for the evening, as it was an absolute crap show tonight in Kansas City, or today in Kansas City, I should say. It looks like Detroit just got kicked off here. I think Washington kicked the opening kickoff out of bounds, if I'm looking at this correctly, unless I'm late.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Wonderful. Off to a good start there. So let's go, Commanders. Yeah, Detroit's starting at the 40-yard line. It's the first play from scrimmage. Let me give you a little play-by-play here real quick, all right? They went from the gun, shifted to ace. Going to be a run here. Montgomery, about a gain of 1. Let's go, Washington. Let's get this dub tonight. So,
yes, please.
Yeah, Coach Lynn said Caleb Williams flopped just like that in our game, shaking my head exactly on the sideline. Yep. So it is what it is.
They would flag guys for that. That should be, unsportsmanlike type penalty.
It should. It should, man. Yeah. It really should, and that'll cause guys to stop doing that. And that Mahomes one, though, where he ran around for 15 seconds and then all of a sudden decided to lay down, and it's like everybody's supposed to stop trying to tackle him.
Well, let's talk about him running around for 15 seconds while, 3 out of 4 linemen within view are holding actively directly in front of the officials. I mean, it's professional football, right? It's the NFL. If you got that much time back there, somebody's holding.
Exactly. Sure. All right, let's change topics here and get our blood pressure back down. PFF put a article out. I don't know when it came out. I'm trying to see the date here. January 16th, so a couple of days ago. It says ranking all 32 NFL teams by offseason assets. Patriots and Raiders lead the way. So essentially what they're doing here is talking about draft capital and basically salary cap space. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down. Draft capital wise, the Packers are currently ranked 25th in draft capital in PFF WAR. All right. It says draft capital measured by the PFF draft value chart using projected PFF WAR of picks for each team. Okay. So there's that. We're about 25th in draft capital, and then cap space. It talks about, you guys will hear me talk about restructure, right? I know there's a lot of shows that don't really talk about the restructure period. It's coming up here probably somewhere between February 20th and February 25th, around that time frame. February 20th, start keeping your ears to the Twitter streets, because what's going to happen is you're going to have the Packers looking to renegotiate contracts, restructure contracts, if you will. So the measurement that they used here, Tim, to kind of determine cap space for the 2025 offseason, I love that they did this. Running on the bottom of the chart from left to right is your effective cap space. So that's the cap space you have right now, okay? And then running vertically up the left is restructure potential. So obviously the Packers have got plenty of cap space, effective cap space available right now. Well over $40 million is what it's showing here. And then, of course, when you look at the restructure potential, not a whole lot there in terms of the rest of the league, right? So we've talked about this. When we talk about the potential for restructures, I actually already got it all figured out for us here to kind of give you a high and a low number. If I can find my paper here. What you've got is, again, I put after the draft class is signed, you're looking at about $30 million in cap space. And then you've got potentials for restructures are Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander, Jordan Love, Elton Jenkins, Xavier McKinney, Kenny Clark, and Josh Jacobs. So you got 7 players. And what I did was came up with a high number and a low number. And it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. So the high number, if you wanted to go maxed out and try to free up as much cap space as you possibly can, you're probably going to have somewhere around $64 million, okay, to free up. And then on the low side, you're looking at about $32 million is what you would have, okay? So obviously you tack that on to the existing after the draft pick money and all that good stuff. You're probably looking at about $60 million you could have to spend. Now, I don't think the Packers are going to go spend $60 million in cap space. I don't think they're going to restructure as much as that either. My guess is you'll probably look to free up somewhere between 15 and 20 million in cap space. You got plenty of cap room to go get one or two free agents if someone you really do fall in love with, like we talked about center from Atlanta, Drew Dowman, if he does make it to the market. That's one I would be okay with. A linebacker like a Bobby Wagner or a Dre Greenlaw, right, for the right price. I could see that happening. There was a couple other free agents we liked here too. Matter of fact, I got my cheat sheet here. These are the free agents I would be okay with the Packers going after. It doesn't mean they're going to sign more than 2 or 3 of these guys. I'm going to list them all off that I would be okay with the Packers signing. Linebacker Bobby Wagner, guard Kevin Zeitler, wide receiver Chris Godwin, center Drew Dowman, guard Trey Smith, tackle Alaric Jackson, cornerbacks Carlton Davis and Byron Murphy, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, cornerback DJ Reed, and guard/center Tristan Colon Castillo. I would be okay with any of those people being signed. Now, obviously, if you're going to get aggressive and you want to say, okay, we're going to spend some money, the one that makes the most sense for me is wide receiver Chris Godwin and center Drew Dowman. Yep. If you say Clayton, you can pick 2 free agents this year. That's the ones I would go after.
I would just add a bonus Tevin Jenkins out of Chicago while we're talking about guards. That might be a little bit of a reach. You talk about spending a little money, but I'd love to steal someone from the Bears.
That would be fun. And I was kind of looking at the corners here too. When you look at like Carlton Davis, he plays for Detroit right now. Byron Murphy plays for Minnesota. You could snatch a couple up there. I would say go ahead and snatch Dre Greenlaw from San Francisco, but they're irrelevant right now anyway, right? Which is kind of cool. How the turntables, right? Wonder how that's worked out. Alaric Jackson, though, the tackle, 77.2 PFF grade, 26 years old for the Rams, similar system. That's another one that might be sneaky. I just don't – with them having to pay Zach Tom and then, of course, Rasheed Walker, too, if they want to keep him around, I don't know if they're going to go spend a whole lot of money on a tackle, right?
And there's good value in the draft at the tackle position, it seems like. I haven't done a super deep dive, but scratching the surface, man, there's a lot of interior. Well, actually, probably more tackles than interior, but there's a few gems on the interior too. It seems like that could be realistically on the board for us in those middle rounds.
Yeah, I completely agree. Matter of fact, why don't we do that, man? Why don't we just jump into some interior offensive line talk? Earlier today, me and Emilio did a deep dive at the defensive tackle position in the draft to kind of see, okay, we've talked about the top half of the draft. Let's see if there's any gems in the bottom half.
You talk about Deion Walker when you were talking about –
We did. I name dropped you when we did it, Tim. I did.
Nice.
Deion Walker's one. He's interesting. I'm eager to see what he does at the combine. I really am, because his draft stock took a bit of a hit this year with Kentucky, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out and just acts like a freak at the combine and everybody falls back in love with him. So, Coach Lynn in the chat, Godwin would be awesome. I could see it now. Would be a great pickup, and again, great hands, great locker room dude. Now, will Tampa Bay let him out? That's the thing, right? Are they going to keep him around? They didn't franchise him last year, did they?
Godwin?
Did they franchise tag Godwin? I'm trying to think. How did they keep him around last year? Because I want to say he was a free agent last year along with Antoine Winfield Jr., but I think they may have tagged Antoine Winfield Jr. and then got a contract done after they tagged him. But I'm pretty sure they definitely extended Antoine Winfield Jr. I'm wondering if they actually tagged Godwin. I need to go pull that information.
I'm just wondering how much of a bidding war for Godwin is there going to be, and will there be an opportunity to maybe snag him in a team friendly kind of scenario with him coming off of that nasty ankle injury?
Yeah, let's see here. So 2022 through 2024, Chris Godwin signed a 3-year, $60 million contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including $18.7 in signing bonus, $40 million in guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $20 million per. That was when he was 26 years old. He's an unrestricted free agent this year. So, yeah, that was the contract then. So they actually this was the last year of his contract. So, I mean, I guess there's a chance they could franchise tag him if they don't want him to walk. I don't know. But, again, that's kind of at the top of my list, Coach. And maybe a change of scenery is in store for Godwin might be a good thing too, right? But of the receivers, that's my favorite. I know a lot of people fall in love with T. Higgins. I would much rather have Godwin than T. Higgins.
I'm with you on that for sure.
Definitely. Here we go. Chuck Jaggers in the chat says, question of the night, boys. Y'all like pineapples on pizza? I've never had it, Tim. Have you ever had it?
No.
I bet it's good.
I like pineapple. I like pizza. I don't know if I like them together. I guess I can't talk until I try it, though. So maybe I'll give it a whirl.
It might be good, man. I don't know. I think Chuck's in the giggle bush tonight, though, if he's thinking about pineapples on pizza. You know what I mean? The munchies just hit. So we'll see about that. But anyway, here we go. Let's deep dive these interior offensive linemen. And what I did here, just to confirm, we've got guards and centers on this list right here. Now, we already hit the top 100, so we're just going to briefly scan through those. All right, just to give you a quick refresher. In the 66 spot, you've got guard Tyler Booker from Alabama. In the 89 spot, you got Tate Ratledge from Georgia. He's a guard. And then outside of that, here are the players we have not hit yet. Let's see if there's any gems in here, boys. So we got in the 118 spot, Connor Colby. All right. He's a senior out of Iowa, 22 years old, 6'6", 310. PFF grades 10. He's ascending, bro. 62.7, 70.6, 77.3. And what we're looking for is a little versatility, too. He's only a right guard only. He's played right guard his entire college career for the most part. 2022, he played a little left guard, a little right tackle, but the last 2 years, he's strictly been a right guard. And zone grade, 81.3. Listen, last year, we talked about this, didn't we, man? We were talking about you got to go zone heavy, zone heavy. This year, boys, we ran a lot of duo. So it kind of feels like Matt was pulling away from the zone blocking scheme a little bit more. Now, duo has similar zone principles, if you will, but when you're running duo and you're pulling guards and you're pinning and pulling and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily mean the zone grade is going to be great there, right? But he's just about pegged out completely here on the chart at 81.3. His run block grade 77.5, pass block grade 67.9. So he's definitely a road grader at right guard, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. He was I think I got him 4th on my list right now. I think the previous experience too, with a little bit of tackle, even though it was a couple years ago, adds to that versatility factor because we talk about possibly, moving a guard over to center. And then, we feel really good about Sheed Walker and Zach Tom, right? But beyond them, then what? So having a guy who could kick inside in a pinch and also be like a number 2 depth chart dude, either at the right or left tackle position, or even an emergency third guy at a tackle position just adds to that value, I think. And, when it comes to center, I'd love to find a true center, but I don't know how many there are. There's not a lot in this draft. So if we're going to go with, the center of the future is already on the team, we're going to end up losing an interior guy to the center position. So someone who can play guard on the left side is very intriguing, or even a guy who has experience, being a swing tackle / versatile guard. So I definitely like Connor Colby for those reasons.
There you go. Up next, Cincinnati guard Luke Kandra, however you say it, 6'4", 323. He's a redshirt senior, no age listed, probably 24, I would imagine.
And he played a little center.
PFF grade 71.9, 81.5, 76.9. Those are pretty solid grades. Not bad at all. And like Tim said, if we dive in here and look at where he played, did he play center, Tim? Nope, we only got guard here, bro.
Oh, hold on a second. My notes are wrong, man.
803 at right guard, 888 at right guard. He played a little in 2022. He took 6 snaps. So, obviously he's probably just filling in for an injury there.
I'm thinking of my next guy. I got another Kentucky boy on my list. That's the one who played a little bit of center.
Nice. So in terms of what he does well in Luke Kandra here, run block grade 74.6, pass block grade 84.1. So he is a pass blocking guard, no doubt about that. Zone grade 75.8, gap grade 64.2, and true pass block grade of 66.3. This here would not be a bad late round pick, in my opinion. I'm trying to look at some of the talent that he may have competed against here. Didn't play any powerhouses really, though. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, I mean, there's a couple of good teams there that they played throughout the course of the year, but kind of hard to judge when you're playing a little bit weaker schedule. But nonetheless, he did his job. There's no doubt about that. So Luke Kandra is one to kind of keep your eye on there a little later in the draft. They've got him ranked 123 here, according to PFF.
Might be a good addition for, depth behind Sean Ryan there at the right guard if he ends up staying there. Or maybe if Ryan kicks to left guard, who knows?
Yeah, could be. Up next, you got Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota, 6'6", 310 pounds, PFF grades 74.2, 71.7, 72.7. When you look at the snaps, looks like he's mostly a left guard. He played a little bit of right guard last year, 225 snaps. This year played left guard, 579 snaps, 2 snaps at right guard, 5 at right tackle, and only 3 at left tackle. His grades, though, run blocking grades 77.4, pass blocking grades
is bad.
Yeah, 65.6, nothing to write home about. He's more of a gap blocker here, according to the grade, at 74.5 gap grade, although zone 76.5 as well. So probably a little bit better zone than gap, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's a mauler. He's a run blocker. That doesn't feel like a Goody top. He really loves those pass blocking specialists on the offensive line. But there's Tyler Cooper for Minnesota. Moving along, Jonah Monheim, 139, redshirt senior out of USC, 6'5", 310 pounds. His PFF grades 81.9, 75.9, 70.2. He's declined every year since he's been in college. But, man, when you're talking about him playing, I guess that would have been his red shirt. What would have been his red? Yeah, well, it would have been his sophomore year. It had to have been. So his sophomore year, he was probably a red shirt, 81.9. That's impressive. So I just kind of wonder what happened there. As
played some tackle, too.
Yeah, look at this, Tim. This year, 807 at center, 807 snaps at center if PFF is correct.
Yep.
So,
and he played right guard in 2022, played a little right tackle in 2022.
Been a little bit all over.
Played a little left tackle in 2023. 800 snaps at center. I mean,
this
this might
be one of those guys, bro, because think about how Goody likes to go back a year or two, right? And people that have excelled, now their draft stock's dropped a little bit. Next thing you know, bang, he's going after them, right? I'm going to jot his name down before I forget it here because that's one I want to keep an eye on. We'll dig in a little bit deeper on him here. What was his name? Jonah Monheim?
Jonah Monheim, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Let me write him down real quick. Again, we're just trying to keep a list fresh here to go back and look at some of these guys that really pop a little bit later.
Drew D said he didn't really like the tape on Jonah, so make a little note on that. I haven't gotten to watch much film yet on the centers.
Got it.
So
I'll
have to take a look at his tape.
With center being so rare in this draft, kind of makes you think if anyone can prove they can play center, their value is probably going to go up just a touch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look at Coach Lynn. He hits it on the head. He plays all over the line. Sounds like a Packer to me, right? Sounds like an Elton Jenkins or a Zach Tom type of dude.
Yeah, really does. Gibbs just scored, so the Lions are leading 6-0 in the first quarter. Come on, Washington.
Well, Reno 911 is your official tonight, so we already know how this game's going to go.
Godspeed out there, Commanders. Godspeed. It's going to be a long night. All right, moving along.
Oh, here we go. Seth.
At 152, Seth McLaughlin. He's a center, right? 6'4", 305, out of Ohio State. PFF grade 74, 59, 70. All right, so a little bit inconsistent. And let's see where his snaps were. Center. So he is a true center, Tim. Run block grade 67.9, not too bad. It's above the three-quarter mark there on the chart. Pass block grade 74.1, that's above the median line. Gap grade 65.5, that's above the three-quarter mark. And zone grade right below the three-quarter mark at a 66.4. This guy right here might be one to keep an eye on. That 2023 grade looks horrible, obviously, at a 59.2. But he definitely rebounded this year. So Seth McLaughlin is one to keep an eye on. What do you think about him, man? Any idea?
It didn't blow me away, but again, I haven't gotten to the film room yet. But just looking on the surface, I mean, you love to see that, right? Guy has an off year and it doesn't become a trend. He's right back to where he was, and then some a little lower PFF grade, but the production seemed to match that solid 2022 season that he had. So I think he's certainly someone you've got to have on your board, because there aren't many centers to pick from in this draft at all. And we've said before that we don't necessarily think that that's the route the Packers are going to go. They basically can't, really. I mean, if you wanted to swing for the fences and use a high draft pick on a center, this is not the year to do it. So we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, CJN says in the chat, replacing Ohio State center with another Ohio State center. That seems to be the common occurrence. Boy, you talk about precedence, right? There you go. The fact that we went from, I'm trying to think, who was the first one we had for Corey Linsley, right?
Yep.
Corey Linsley, and then we went from Corey Linsley briefly to, I think it was Lucas Patrick for 1 year, and then we went right into Josh Myers. So absolutely wild, man. We'll see though.
Chance to have you? I see we got Jake Majors next from Texas, but there was a center out of Boston College that I think we should take a look at. I don't know if he's on this list. Drew Kendall, I think is his name, from BC.
Right. Yep.
Okay, here's a guy.
We'll get to him here in a minute, man. 232 rank. That could be a gem there, right?
That's what I'm thinking. One of these under the radar kind of guys.
Yep.
Use a 6th or 7th round on or something.
Yeah. So here's Jake Majors. He's a senior. He was a senior this year, 6'3", 315 out of Texas. Jake Majors. PFF grades are 63.7, 70.7, 72.7. So you've seen improvement the entire time. He is a true center. Played all 3 years that he played in college. Center snaps the entire time, and his snaps increased every year as well. So showing some ability. Run block grade 68.2, pass block grade 85.4, gap grade 65.5, zone grade 63.8. So this is a pass blocking center, true center. We know Goody loves his pass blockers. That's basically what Myers was good at, right? So this is a guy you're probably going to want to write down.
This might be the truest true center in the draft right here. Arguably, Jake Majors for sure. Yeah.
And a big name program too, right? Playing for Texas as they entered the SEC this year. Let's see how he performed against good teams. That's the one thing we want to keep an eye on here. Georgia toward the end of the year, 65.4, not horrible, right? His best game of the year was against my Wildcats. Listen, that doesn't say a lot from this year, okay? Let's be honest. 77.3 in that game. Mississippi State, 72.7. So, again, Georgia earlier, 67.6. He seems pretty consistent, though, right? He only had one game he graded out in the 50s. That was at Texas A&M. We know that can be rough playing down there on the road, Texas A&M as a center. Probably had to go to a silent count, I would imagine. So that's a guy I'm going to write down and just take a little bit deeper look at, Jake Majors. All right, next you've got Miles Frazier at 167, his PFF grades, 62, 66, and 70. He is a guard, 6'5", 325 pounds out of LSU. His snaps, right guard and right tackle this year, mostly right guard, last year right guard, and the year before in 2022 he played all over the line, but it looks like here recently he really settled in at right guard. Pass block grade of 88.0, run block grade 64.0, zone grade below the median mark there at 60.2, and gap grade just slightly above the three-quarter mark at 66.1. So it's a guy that's another pass blocking interior offensive lineman, but again, don't have any kind of center experience there on this one, Tim. So,
Miles Frazier, I didn't get a good look at. Not yet.
I mean, he's improved every year, but I just don't see anything special there,
Yeah.
All right, up next, Dylan Fairchild, the 195th ranked prospect according to PFF's big board. He's a guard, 6'5", 315 out of Georgia. PFF grades, only 18 snaps in 2022. It was 80.3. You got to kind of throw that out. So let's pick up in 2023, 73.1, 74.6 the next year. So he got better every year. His experience was left guard mostly, a little bit at right guard, just a touch. And then last year, mostly left guard, 114 snaps at right guard. So no center experience from him. However, run block grade 71.8, pass block grade 87.0. He's more of a zone blocker than a gap blocker, it appears. That's a guy that kind of gets my attention, especially with that pipeline in Georgia. So, again, no center experience, but if you like where he's sitting on the board, you draft him to add some depth at guard. If you do end up moving Elton or Sean Ryan or someone else to center, that could be,
that was the mindset I had when I was starting to put my board together. We're trying to build these lists, and I'm thinking that way. I don't think we're looking for the next center in this draft. I think we're looking to probably fill a void at one of the guard positions, and then a guy who can also maybe be a backup tackle in a pinch is pretty good for us too. So I think that might be the plan.
Yeah, that pass block grade, boy, that's impressive though. 87. That's it's rare you see a guard that pass blocks that well. Of course, the left guard, he's obviously on the blind side there of most of the year. I guess it would have been Carson Beck, right, that he was protecting down there in Georgia. So, yeah, that's another guy to keep an eye on there. But again, no center experience. I'm going to not jot him down for the time being. Next, you got Clay Webb. You look at these PFF grades, Tim, 80, 87.4, 82.0. But he played for Jackson State, right? So you've got to mention that. 6'3", 290, a little bit undersized. Let's see where his experience was. Left guard, left guard, left guard. And again, who did he play, though? Who did he go up against? Not a whole lot of nothing, man. That doesn't mean he can't be a great football player. We remember what happened with Tucker Kraft at tight end, right? One thing's for sure, he did what he was supposed to do against that lesser talent. Run block grade, 82.7. It's all the way at the top. Pass block grade right above the median level at 72.7.
Yeah.
His zone grade, 84.9. You could tell he's going to be an athletic dude out there blocking for sure. His true pass block grade, though, 49.8. I'm going to have to pass.
Yeah, that is kind of a negative. I do like the fact that he's basically a left guard. Like you look at, if you're looking at the snaps and just look at I don't see them trying to make him a tackle or a center. So This would be a depth guy at best, I think, or a developmental type of player.
Right. And Jacksonville State's one of those schools. I mean, it's, again, probably a dominant program at that level of football, but,
Sure.
Get him to the combine, see if he can improve his draft stock. Maybe he gets drafted late, and who knows? You may look up. There's been other offensive linemen that have made it at small schools. It's just a lot rare,
We got an age on him. How old is he?
Let's see here. Let me go back. No age listed. He's a redshirt senior, so he's got to be 24 years old, right?
Yeah. So that's another strike.
Yeah, we could go and find
Goody DiCaprio factor, right?
Exactly. Again, good PFF grades. It's just, man, that's tough not playing against anybody over at Jackson.
Oh, here's my guy right here.
Here we go.
Jagger Burton?
Yeah, PFF was brutal with him here, but let's see what we got. Junior, 6'4", 316 pounds. He got better every year, 49, 50, and then 60.
That's what caught my eye was the steady improvement. Yeah.
Yeah, played a lot of snaps too, right? Fairly good amount there. Well, 379. Run block grade down a little bit, below the medium mark. Pass block grade below the medium mark. Again, playing at Kentucky, he didn't play the entire year. What did he finish with here in terms of snaps? Yeah, 379 total. Played more snaps last year than he did this year. But there is Jagger Burton from Kentucky. Next, you got Drew Kendall. This is your boy from BC, right, Tim?
This is the one that caught my eye, yeah.
Steady improvement, man. First of all, 6'4", 299. He is a center from Boston College. I imagine unless there was a transfer involved, probably played under Coach Hafley. So probably recruited by Coach Hafley, a good chance, right? 60.1. Then he jumped to a 70.6. Then he jumped to a 78.8. He was the 12th highest graded center in all of college football. And when we look at the snaps, he's a true center, no doubt about it. Let's look at the individual comparables here. Run block grade, 75.9. Pass block grade, 81.5. Zone grade, 71.8. Gap grade, 73.9. True pass block grade of 76.2. This kind of looks like the best center in the draft. If you're just looking at
what I was saying, like, and he's a true center. So you've got a handful in this draft. Like we said, our boy from Texas, right? You got Majors, and then you've got You've got this gentleman right here, Mr. Burton, or I
Drew,
mean,
Drew
Mr.
Kendall.
Kendall. Drew Kendall. Yeah. So
The big thing for
a
me,
reach, though, it would be a reach, but those comparables are crazy. He's off the charts.
yeah, the big thing for me too. The only knock I can come up with is his level of opponents. Right, he played Florida State, Duke, Missouri, Michigan State, Western. I think that's Western Kentucky, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Louisville. We had, I think that's Syracuse. I believe that's their symbol there. I think that's SMU there, 74.1, probably his best game of the year. UNC had a 69.1 against UNC. Pitt, decent program, 66.2, and then Nebraska, 61.2. So the only knock I can find on him here, Tim, is the level of competition that he went up against. I'm going to jot him down, though. We're going to take a closer look at him later. It's Drew Kendall out of Boston College. The PFF grades, though, man, steady improvement for sure. And again, like you said, the comparables off the charts. So there's Drew Kendall, true center in the draft.
I only wrote 4 centers down, and Drew Kendall's number 1 on my list. Yep.
I'd say right now, for me, it's between him and Monheim. Next, you got Cooper Mays out of Tennessee. PFF grade 64, 61, and 68. Doesn't seem like there's anything special there. Let's look at the comparables. Just the gap grade is about it. So, yeah, we'll just keep this thing moving here from Cooper Mays. No disrespect to the Mays family out there, all right? In the 250 spot, Joshua Gray from Oregon State, 6'4", 310 pounds. PFF grade 79.4, 67.6, 73.1. So had a little bit of
left tackle, too, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Yeah,
2023. Yep.
True left tackle last year, and then this year he switched to guard, so got a little bit of versatility there, right?
Yep.
Probably the reason they moved him to guard, that pass blocking grade, right, 64.2, but the run blocking grade 74.6, zone grade of 71.5, and a gap grade of 73.5. So he's definitely more of a run blocking guard there at left guard this year, Joshua Gray. Next, you've got, what was that, Marcus Weir? Is that how you would say that name? Wehr? Weir?
I believe so. Yeah, Montana State, right?
Yeah, Montana State out there playing.
I got him on my list too. Look at those grades.
Yeah, if he wasn't playing Podunk University, I'd be excited about this, right? I mean, he's literally 81, 93.2, 87.8. Like that is impressive, no matter where you're playing at. You're talking about consistency, right? And then when it comes to the snaps, he played right guard. So he's a true right guard is what it looks like. He played a little right tackle last year. So it looked like they tried him at right tackle. Then he settled in at right guard and really took off, man. His run block grade, 87.3. Pass block grade, 83.2. Zone grade, 89.5. And a gap grade of 66.4. I'm going to jot him down, Tim. I think he's worth taking a look at. Small school, but still, right?
Yeah.
Guard. So that might be one of those dudes that you look up at the end of the draft, and it's an undrafted free agent as well. So
exactly, and you can never go wrong loading up on your O line or your D line. We talked about that, building up the trenches. I'm all for it.
Definitely. Up next, ranked 261 is Luke Newman.
Hello, Newman.
6'4", 315 pounds. He's a redshirt senior out of Michigan State. PFF grades 79, 87.9. And then a 71.9 this year. That 87.9 is really impressive. Let's see if he changed where he was playing. Yep. So that 87.9, guys, he was playing left tackle last year. He switched to left guard and dropped down to a 71.9. So he looks like he might be better suited to play left tackle. Run block grade 69.9, pass block grade 76.9, zone grade 61.8, gap grade 78.9, and a true pass block grade of 69.2. That's and that 2023 grade is really, really impressive. It is.
Yeah.
But again, so you got a guy that could probably play a little left guard, play a little left tackle there too. All right, let's see what else.
Another Newman though. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, it feels like it was 2 lifetimes ago that we had Royce Newman, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Where's he at now? He's selling insurance. What's he doing now, Tim? Any idea?
I don't know.
It's just crazy because I think it was his rookie year or maybe the second year that he really impressed. I know Aaron was excited about him, right? But, yeah. I don't know, man. He just kind of fell off fell off the map there toward the end, though. Up next, Nash Jones, ranked 265th from Texas State.
Sound like a county sheriff deputy or something.
It does.
Nash Jones.
Oh, strip fumble. We got it, baby. Washington's got the ball. They're down 7-3.
Let's go.
55 seconds left in the first quarter, and it's Washington ball now. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah, so his grade, Nash Jones, 6'5", 320. He's a senior out of Texas State, 77, 65, and 71. See if there's any versatility. So, yeah, he played left guard this year. Last year he played left tackle. The year before he played left tackle. So, run block grade 71.1, zone grade 68.1, gap grade 68.6, and a pass block grade of 72. True pass set, pass block grade of 70.1 at the 3-quarter mark. Not bad there. Just, again, lower level of competition, obviously. So,
yep.
Up next, Jack Conley out of Boston College, 52, 60, and 58. We're just going to roll on by here. Wisconsin boy, here we go. Joe, is it Joe Huber or Huber? Probably Huber, right?
Probably Huber, yeah.
6'5", 310, PFF grades 80.6, 69.6, 68.7. Let's see if anything changed from that first year where he was dominant. Yep. He played right tackle in 2022, and he had an 80.6. They moved him to left guard, told him to wipe his butt with the other hand there, and he dropped down to a 69.6, and then moved him back across, but this time to right guard his senior year. I believe it was his senior year, if I remember correctly, and he had a 68.7. Let me just double-check that real quick. Yeah, he's a redshirt senior. So, you know, if you dove into that and looked, all right, 2022 was his best year, and he played right tackle, he may be more fit for a tackle spot. But he does have some versatility there, being able to play both sides of the ball a little bit. And it wasn't like he completely crapped the bed either. I mean, a 69 grade and a 68 grade, not too bad, man, for Wisconsin.
Yeah, I didn't have – the only Badger I got on my list is Nelson, the left tackle. I don't know if you looked at him, Jack Nelson.
If he wasn't in the top 100, we may not have dove. We haven't deep dove the later rounds yet. I do not have a Jack Nelson on my cheat sheet here, but these are all top 100 prospects. So
got it.
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow or on our next show. We'll do what we're doing here and kind of climb into the tackle class a little bit. I think that'd be a good idea. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Next, you've got Timothy McKay, 63, 57, and 70. He's from North Carolina State. Any versatility? Not really. Pretty much a right guard. Played a little right tackle last year, but mostly just a right guard is what it looks like.
Pretty big jump from 2023 to 2024, though. On the
57.6 all the way to a 70.5. Yeah.
About 100 less snaps, though, too.
Yeah, definitely. Chris N says with the super chat, thank you, Chris. Kicker draft talk. I'm not going to do it, boys. I'm going to refund you your $2 right now, Chris. I don't even know where we can find college kicker information other than just looking at field goal percentage, which we know pro scouts don't care about that, Tim, because when we went out and drafted Anders Carlson, he had a bad field goal percentage in college. And for whatever reason, Goody and Rich Bisaccia said, you know what? We don't care. We can change him. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if Chris wants kicker talk, I'm happy to give you $2 worth of me talking about why we need to sign McManus right now.
That's exactly right. I actually put that tweet out earlier going, boy, y'all making us nervous. We need to get something done with McManus as soon as possible.
Yep.
And here you go. Washington low outside zone run. Picked up a couple. So they're still losing 7-3 as the first quarter is about to come to a close here. They're hanging in there, Tim. They're sticking right with them. So, Chris N, yeah, my kicker talk's the same as Tim's, man. We got to get McManus back in the building. Got to. Second in the league in field goal percentage. If we go young again, Tim, you guys know I'm a glass half full type of Packer fan. But if we go down that road again, taking a swing on a young kicker when we have Brandon McManus in the house, I'm not going to be able to live with it. I'm just not going to be able to handle it.
We're going to have to go young again at some point, but that would be the goal, right? Would to keep a guy like McManus as long as you can while you develop, your younger kickers.
Right.
We've got this international guy, right? Alex Hale.
Mm-hmm.
Give him time to develop. That's what Joe's talking about here. Yeah, Hale. So, and he's protected, right? Because he's the international player.
Correct.
So he can't be poached. Yeah. So, I say give McManus, 2 to 3 year deal at least, right?
No.
And
That's
keep
what I
him
was
in the
saying.
building for the next couple of years. And then if you want to take a swing on someone in the draft, then that's fine. You've got time to develop them. But you're right. I think we should learn our lesson from the Anders Carlson experience, and know that these guys are not always ready to just come into the league and start playing.
Yeah. And again, he finished the league second in field goal percentage, if I was looking at the numbers correctly. And the thing that really stood out to me was that 55-yarder against Chicago in Green Bay, cold weather. I mean, just went to the coach, said, I can hit that, marched out there and just knocked it through.
Yeah, that should have been the game winner.
It should have been. You're exactly right. So, again, hopefully they bring him back. And there is your kicker talk. Chris, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you, man. We really muscled through that. We did good, man. Did good. Last one for the interior offensive lineman, according to PFF, ranked 281st, 6'5", 305, out of Purdue, Gus Hartwig. All right. Sounds like a tobacco company, doesn't it? 6'5", 305.
Sounds like a guy can fix your transmission for you.
It does. PFF grades 71, 69, and 70. Let's see if we got some versatility. We do, Tim. Looky here. They've got him listed as a guard, right? No, they had him listed as a center. I overlooked that. So he's a true center, all right? And, 679 snaps. All of his snaps this year as a center. Last year, 622 at center, and they kicked him out the right tackle for 28. Zone grade, pretty good at 69.4. True pass set, pass block grade of 76.8. Pass block grade 82.1, run block grade 66.1, gap grade is 61.6. I'm going to jot him down as a late round. Want to take a look at him later, top guy here. As again, that was Gus Hartwig out of Purdue. You got anything on him? Anything you want to add to him, Tim?
I did not. He did not pop up on my list.
All right, we'll make sure we dive a little deeper into that. So, as thin as it is up top in the draft, with there being 0 top 100 prospects that are truly listed as centers, we earmarked 5 interior offensive linemen, one of which doesn't have any center experience, right? So really 4 potential center targets for the Packers later in the draft. So we'll see how that goes. And obviously the combine is going to shake things up. It won't affect my board too much. I make sure I don't let that noise of how well people run in their underwear affect the board overall. It's just they're going to get a bonus if they knock the combine out of the park. But I'm not going to allow my board to be created after the combine, right? The board is already being created right now, so we can control the hype around all of these workouts and all that stuff. I really want to. I want to know.
Otherwise, it's not your board. Then you're just building the hype train board that everyone else is. I like the approach that we take. Get on it early.
Definitely. Because it's like the consensus big board, and we'll go ahead and we'll close this out, and I'll pull up the consensus big board real quick and explain to you guys what I'm talking about. This consensus big board is already shuffling around. It changed a little bit today, and that's why I like to get my base created early. I want an aspect of the consensus big board I want it added into my board. That makes sense, right? Before all the hype starts. So this is how the board sits right now. Now, if we're going to go to our positions of need, let's go defensive line, right? I really think we need a 3 tech. You can kind of see who's in this range here. You got Mason Graham out of Michigan, 5th. Kenneth Grant, 21st. He's out of Michigan as well. Derek Harmon out of Oregon at 25. Shamar Stewart out of A&M at 26. Walter Nolan is 29th out of Ole Miss. Tyleik Williams is down to 35th out of Ohio State. Deion Walker is sitting at 49. That's Tim's guy. He's at 49 right now, but he peaked at 16. So at one point he was considered a top 20, almost top 15 pick. Alfred Collins out of Texas, one of my favorite dudes, 55. TJ Sanders is the one that really stood out to me, Tim. Looking at him earlier today, that's the guy that on my short list. TJ Sanders, Walter Nolan. There's another one too. Is it Aeneas Peebles that we uncovered earlier today? Me and Emilio did. You also got Darius Alexander and another guy named Thor Griffith. Tim, a defensive lineman named Thor, bro. Sign me up.
Sign me up. That's it. Do it. Trade up to get him if you have to.
So, like, if I work from the bottom up here, right? Thor Griffith. Let's see where Thor Griffith is currently sitting on the. So he's sitting at 262. He peaked at 135. Now there may be injuries involved. We'll dive into all that extra information later. But imagine being able to land someone like that later in the draft. I'm telling you, man, looking at his card earlier today, I was really impressed with him, man. I really was. Darius Alexander, another one at 183. Really like him. Where's Peebles at? Did we see Peebles yet? Let me see if I can find him real quick. Where's he at? There we go. 143. How would you say that? Aeneas Peebles, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
That's a tough one.
Aeneas, maybe? I don't know.
Aeneas, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Aeneas Peebles. So defensive lineman out of Virginia Tech, 143. He peaked at 108. And we're just kind of working these backwards, right? Next, you would have our boy Walter Nolan somewhere, I would imagine. Actually, TJ Sanders first at 56 out of South Carolina. He looks like an absolute dog, man. We were hitting on him earlier today. Walter Nolan's sitting at 29. If we go back now, and I'll do this real quick and we'll wrap up. I don't want to talk too much about defensive tackle because we hit it really, really hard earlier today. But if we go to defensive tackle, I want you to look at a couple of these guys real quick, Tim. And I'm on the hop train for them, man. All right, let's close this out. Let's go tackle or interior defenders. So I want you to see just a couple of these real quick. Get it to where it's a little more readable. Let's start with TJ Sanders. Let's find TJ Sanders. Look at this. 32nd, right? Look at his PFF grade, 57, 72, 82. And look at this down here with the comparables, bro.
Wow.
Pass rush grade, 81.9. True pass set pass rush grade, 90.2. Run defense grade, 77.1. Pass rush win rate of 12.6%. Run stop rate, Tim, 8.8%, almost all the way to the top. And again, he played for South Carolina, so he played in the SEC. Look at some of these teams he played in.
Yeah.
LSU, 76.3. Ole Miss, 82.9. Alabama, 70.3. Texas A&M, 78.5. Clemson, 74. I mean, he played against some good talent. TJ Sanders has got my eye big time, bro. Big time. So that's one. And then let's see. We've hit on Walter Nolan. What's that?
I got to get him on my list.
Yeah,
my last ads were Derek Harmon from Oregon and Alfred Collins out of Texas. So yeah, I gotta get Sanders on my.
So let's go find Peebles real quick. I want you to see a couple of these because these are later round guys, right? Right here. Look at the PFF grade, Tim. 65, 86, 88, right? And he's sitting in the 170 spot according to PFF. Look at the comparables, bro. 91 pass rush grade. It's literally through the roof. True pass set pass rush grade, 90.6. Pass rush win rate of 17%. And then a run defense grade of 78.5. Run stop rate is above the median mark at 6.3. And again, he played for Virginia Tech. Let's look at some of the he dominated Old Dominion, but, you know, my blind uncle could dominate Old Dominion, right? Miami on the road, 77.7. Clemson, 84.5. Syracuse on the road, 80.2. Virginia, he dominated too. Virginia, he played had an 87.3. So that's one to keep an eye on as well. There's Peebles, and then Thor Griffith. You seen how low he was just a second ago on the consensus big board. Look at this dude right here, man.
Wow.
90.5, 89.2, 83.0. Played for Louisville, right? And again, keep in mind, Tim, these are three techs, man. The majority of their snaps are mostly
D-gap, yeah.
So pass rush grade only 67.2, but look at that run defense grade, 83.7. You go, okay, pass rush grade about the 3/4 mark, nothing great. Run stop rate 8.2%. True pass set pass rush grade 69.2. Pass rush win rate of 8.2% above the 3/4 mark. So here you got a little bit better run defender, right? And he played a little more A gap in 2023, so he's definitely built to stop the run a little bit more than play the pass. So that's another guy that if he falls far enough, I could see that being a late round gem. If you don't bring TJ Slayton back, right? Maybe one of those guys that you can kind of help filling in the run game. But dominated the Miami game 93.2 with his PFF grade. Played Notre Dame 67.2, not bad. At Washington 77. So just a few guys to keep your eye on. I want to kind of brush you up on those that me and Emilio were looking at earlier, man. We found a couple gems, and I swear I really like this list that we just found here with interior offensive lineman late too. So
absolutely, you got to do that. You got to bounce all over the board. You know, once you get out of that top 100, you're right. There are a few potential gems here in this draft.
Yep, definitely. And it looks like Washington has taken the lead. Let's freaking go. Let's go ESPN. Give me just a second. And we'll,
it took them long enough to find the end zone. I was getting nervous there for a minute. I mean, knocking on the door for a while, but finally got in. Good for them. Definitely. Go to the chat real quick. Going back to O-line, CJN. Do not draft Jack Nelson for the love of God.
Why not?
Unless you want holding and false starts every drive. So CJN, just for you, brother, I'm crossing him off my list.
Appreciate you, CJN.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. CJN's got a better beat on the Badgers than I do. So
yeah, here we go. Washington now leads 9-7. I was trying to see what just happened. Let's go play by play real quick here. So it was a touchdown drive, and see if there's any explosives on that drive here, Tim. We had a 2-yard touchdown run by Robinson there. Almost said Bijan Robinson, but obviously that's Brian Robinson, right? The dude that literally got shot and played later that year. Unbelievable. Any explosives on that drive there at all? That's just a long drive. Here we go. Deep pass left to D Brown. 42 yards for Jaden Daniels. Yeah, there's your explosive that triples your chances of scoring on that drive. Box score. Let's see how they're playing here. Let me widen it out. See if we can get both teams on the screen at once here. Maybe.
Trudy said, "You guys can't go off the air when you're willing the Commanders to victory."
That's a good point, man. I'm kind of I'm one of those dudes that's a little bit. I'm not superstitious. I'm just stitious, right? Is that what you say all the time?
Just a little stitious.
Yeah, so Jaden Daniels, 10 of 16 for 132 yards. Jared Goff so far, 4 of 5 for 62 yards. Yeah, Brian Robinson averages 7 yards a pop with a touchdown. That is De'Ami Brown with 2 catches for 49 yards. Austin Eckler, a couple catches as well. What are we doing on defense here? Anybody got a sack yet? Dorrance Armstrong, that was that strip sack where he forced the fumble. So let's go, man. See if they hit this extra point and we'll get out of here, Tim. Go crack open a daddy soda and watch the rest of this game, man.
There you go. That's what
you got a way to watch it where you're at, man?
Yep. We got it on in the background right now.
All right, good deal. I was going to DoorDash you a TV real quick, a little 20-inch TV to make sure you can watch it.
I don't know. I might get it next year where I'm at.
Right. Yeah, so the Commanders lead 10-7. Any parting thoughts here, Tim, as we sign off, man?
Just one more in the comment. I thought we should hit Fred's here. 10 years ago, our O-line was Box, Sitton, Lindsley, Lang, and Balaga. We need to get back to that standard. I couldn't agree anymore. Well said, Fred.
And here's what's crazy. Keep that up there. Bach, late round pick, right? Was he a 4th or a 5th, if I remember correctly? Josh Sitton, I'm almost positive, was a late round pick. Corey Lindsley was early, right? Was he a 2nd rounder, if I remember right? I'm just trying to see how these were built here. Let me double check on Josh Sitton. Josh Sitton, draft pick. I love looking this stuff up, man. I really do. 4th round. So he was a 4th rounder, right? We're talking about all these late round guys. This is where they find these dudes, right?
Yep.
Zach Tom, the whole bunch. All right, let's see. Corey Lindsley.
Eric Sutherland said 6th round for Bakhtiari. Maybe
was it really?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Corey Lindsley, 5th round. Holy cow, dude.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Confirms it.
TJ Lang. Watch this. TJ Lang. I know this one. I'm pretty sure. I just want to double check. TJ Lang was taken in the 4th round. This was before Goody, right? This was Ted Thompson.
Yep.
There's something they see in the 4th round in offense.
Brian Balaga, Iowa.
Now, that was a 1st round pick. So, of that offensive line that's just absolutely awesome, it's made up of 6th, 4th, 1st. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, so look to the later rounds this year, right? We went 1st round O-line last year, right?
Yeah. And again, if the right tackle falls, the correct tackle falls, not the right tackle, you know what I mean? The correct tackle falls to you. Don't be surprised if Goody uses a 1st rounder on it again and converts on the guard, right? You need that depth. Goff loads it up. He's got a man he overthrew him, thank God. Kind of looked like Jameson Williams pulled up a little early there, too. So that was a shot on 2nd and 10. So we got a 3rd and 10 coming up, I believe, here. All right. And that was Sainer still on coverage. He got cooked. Bad. Go ahead and read that one there, Tim.
Yeah, CJN just following up. He said Nelson was really good back in 22. He was amazing. If he would clean up the penalties, he would be decent. So
got it.
Still, we're not taking him. He's off the board.
We'll get him out of here.
I mean, you think 2 years to clean up your penalties, you would have made some strides. So, yeah, I don't know. We don't need another issue on the O-line at all. We've already had issues with guys lining up on the ball and false starting and stuff. So, good catch, CJM.
Great point. All right, we're out of here, guys. Appreciate you, Tim. I don't know if you're available in the morning. Are you? No.
I should be. Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll go live tomorrow morning at 8:30 Central Time. We'll be back for Good Morning Lambeau, and we'll continue to dive into some of these prospects. We'll do the latter round outside of the top 100 tackles tomorrow morning. Kind of get a
crap. AFAM said something nice about Jordan Love. Do you see that?
Jordan Love would have made that throw. AFAM. What are you?
Wow. Get a screenshot because you'll never hear it again.
Man, unbelievable. AFAM and that caterpillar on his damn lip. I can't take him serious. I only say that because I can't pull it off, man. I look like a creeper if I just grow a mustache out. So I look like Officer Farva from Super Troopers. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But Tim, appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Clay. See you in the morning.
All right, man. We'll see you in the morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Chris N, special shout out. Thank you for the super chat and making us talk kicker. You are the man. We'll see y'all in the morning, 8:30 Central. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and go Commanders.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.